Welcome to the Women in Wellness podcast. This is your place to get the latest up-to-date health and wellness information specifically for women, while providing you practical tools you can implement today. I'm Dr. Caitlin Sazowski, and I wanted to personally thank you for spending part of your day with me. Hello, Women and Wellness Tribe. It is Dr. Caitlin, and I have a very special guest with me today that we're going to dive deep into a topic that is so important, but it's not something that I dive super deep into with you all because it's not my field of expertise. You hear me talking all the time about how important it is to breathe through our nose, but you don't hear me talk about how important it is to breathe properly. So we're going to be talking with Jen Broyles, who is a holistic health coach and breath work master. She didn't claim that, but I'm going to put that, designation on her. And so she has a very interesting story, actually, and I would love for her to tell us how she went from pharmaceutical sales rep into health coach, breathwork instructor, and how she stumbled upon the SOMA breathing technique, which is really what we're going to focus on today. So I want you guys to stay tuned, though. You got to stay till the end because Jen has graciously promised to do and take us through, a demonstration behind what the SOMA breathwork looks like. So make sure you stay tuned to the end. So welcome, Jen. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you, Caitlin. I'm so happy to be here.
So how did you go from pharmaceutical rep to holistic health coach and breathing instructor?
Yeah, not the path you would expect, right? So
we all have interesting paths, that lead us to where we are. So I love hearing how people get to where they're at and why they do what they do.
Yeah. It's so interesting, and I kind of it makes me laugh and smile when I look back on the journey, because it's certainly not what I had planned out for myself, but it's the way life has unfolded. And I think it's incredibly beautiful. And, I think like so many of us that are in the holistic wellness field, we kind of end up there when we're trying to solve our own health issues or those of a loved one, right? And so that was really the case for me. I grew up, big believer in conventional medicine. That was the only thing I really knew of. You go to a doctor, if you're sick, you get a medication and you get better. Like medicines make you better, right? And that was my belief. And, in my early 20s, I started experiencing some really debilitating digestive issues. And it happened to be after a round of some pretty heavy duty antibiotics. And, for the longest time, I did nothing about it. I didn't talk to anybody about it because it was embarrassing and I didn't want to bring it up. And I just thought eventually it would go away. And I didn't know at the time what had triggered it. Looking back now, I can make the connection. But I just figured it was a phase and things would just go back to normal, and they didn't. And it started to lead to other symptoms like hormone imbalances and anxiety and skin issues and all these things. And so I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I've got to see a doctor about this because it was really difficult to just get through a day. Mm-hmm. And so at that time I was working pharmaceutical sales. And
they got a pill for that, right?
Absolutely. I was hoping, right? I was like, I just need a medication to make me better. And I saw a bunch of different doctors, did a bunch of different testing. And the only thing that really came back was IBS. And at the time I was like, great, you know what it is. Give me the medication that fixes it. And of course they did give me a medication and it didn't help. And then I found myself seeing doctors for a bunch of other things. And I was on all these different drugs, right? Stuff for digestion, birth control, anti-anxiety meds, all the things. And I wasn't feeling any better. And I felt like I kind of reached the end of my options. And so I just started reading books on nutrition. I thought maybe if I change the way I eat, because I didn't know a whole lot about nutrition. And so I stumbled upon books, and I think they were the right books. And it led me down this path of learning about functional medicine and integrative medicine and holistic modalities and alternative healing and things I did not know about. And nor did I probably didn't even care about them at the time, but it took me getting to this place where I was like, I need solutions. I'm open to other options. And so it opened.
Usually what happens,
Yeah.
people when they hit rock bottom, they're like, okay, what do I got to do to feel normal again? What do I got to do to get back to functioning?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you got there, but
yeah,
it led to where you are now.
It really did. It really did. And so, so yeah, it opened my eyes to this whole new world of medicine and healing. And I loved it so much that I went back to school, studied integrative nutrition, became a holistic health coach, and then further down the road, discovered breath work, and have started to really integrate that into my my practice when I work with clients. And it's such a profound healing modality.
So why is breath work, I want to say, like the missing link for a lot of people who are doing everything? You know, they've changed their diet, they're fasting, they're eating keto, they're trying to get their sleep, you know, they've tried all of these things, but they're still not feeling quite like what they're looking for, quite themselves. Why might it be breath work? Like, how does breath work play into the emotional, mental, even physical aspects of our health?
The breath is so important, and it's one of those things that we like. It happens in the background. We don't even think about it, and we don't think about it. We don't realize its importance. We take it for granted, but if you start to think about the breath and everything that it does for you, it is literally life-giving. It's the first thing you do when you come into this world is take a breath in. It's the last thing you'll do when you leave this world is exhale. And everything you do in between, you know, the breath plays such a big role. So this tool, this function we have within us, why are we not giving it more attention? Because it is literally the thing that's keeping us alive. You know, and so the thing with breath is that it is under the influence of the autonomic nervous system, meaning it happens in the background. It happens while you're sleeping. You don't have to think about it, which is beautiful, but it's also this one function that we can consciously control. And, you know, when it's left to the influence of the autonomic nervous system, if you are living in a chronically stressed out state, if you're living in survival mode, if you're living in sympathetic overdrive, then your breath is going to be that. Your breath is going to be stressed. It's going to be shallow. It's going to be erratic. And that simply perpetuates the vicious cycle of stress, which throws off virtually every function in your body, whether it's digestion, blood pressure, hormones, sleep, anxiety, depression, whatever it is. It's really incredible that if you start to tune into the breath and start to correct it and slow it down and bring it back into a rhythm and breathe properly, it can really start to rebalance the body, bring things back into harmony.
So true. So true, especially in today's day and age. We're just under more stress with everything that's happened over the past year. And what I've been told is, you know, I just can't seem to relax. You know, my techniques just aren't working anymore. And a lot of times what I find women doing is they're mouth breathing, and they're only breathing through our chest. So do you mind talking about why breathing, just expanding our chest, is not helping us, and really how to you bring it down and take those deep breaths? Because if without oxygen, which is like one of like the top nutrient that we need to live, we end up having all sorts of downstream complications.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so the fact of the matter is about 90% of us are breathing incorrectly. And so there's a huge opportunity for us to really start to prioritize our breath and pay attention to it and start to correct it. Because just like anything else, you can correct it. It's a habit you've created, right? And so we have to create a new habit, and that takes practice. But yes, the mouth breathing, the shallow chest breathing, that is a very stressful way of breathing. You know, most of us only use 30% of our lung capacity, so we're not really using our lungs optimally. And breathing that way kind of messes up the oxygen to carbon dioxide ratio as well. And so while you're over breathing, because when you're mouth breathing and you're shallow chest breathing, you're actually over breathing. And so you're breathing in a lot of oxygen, but it's not in a way that really gets absorbed into the cells and utilized. So, you know, we think of, oxidative stress, oxidative damage. We can oxygenate our bodies through the breath. We really don't want to breathe so many times per minute. We want to slow our breath and not even breathe harder, but just breathe smarter. So slowing down the breath, breathing fewer breaths per minute, and trying to bring that breathing into more of a rhythmic style is incredibly calming to the nervous system. And when we slow our breath down that way and breathe fewer breaths per minute, we are starting to balance out that oxygen to carbon dioxide ratio into a more healthy balance. And then the mouth breathing. The mouth breathing is one of the worst things we can do.
Oh, I've been preaching this for years, but tell them your spin on mouth breathing.
Yeah, it is. If there's one thing you stop doing right now, it's mouth breathing. And I was doing it, you know, like I realized how much I was mouth breathing. Sometimes, especially when we are stressed out or we're feeling anxious, we feel like we can't get that breath, you know? And so we feel like we have to take this deep breath in through our mouth, and we just can't get that full breath. And so really starting to breathe through our nose has a whole host of benefits. So nostril breathing, one, it allows the oxygen to get into our bodies at a slower pace, which allows it to be absorbed into the lungs more effectively. You know, if you think of your mouth, it's a big open space and we can breathe a lot in really fast. The nostrils are a little smaller. So if we take those slower breaths in through our nose, it helps that oxygen just get absorbed much more effectively. Mm-hmm. But the nostrils serve a lot of purposes. So the nostrils filter your air. You know, those hairs that you have in your nose, those are little air filters. Mm-hmm. And they are there for a reason. And so we want to breathe in clean air, don't we? And so if we breathe in through our nose, we have this natural kind of air purifier built within us. It's going to filter that air. It's going to clean the air. And the other great thing about nostril breathing is that it stimulates the production of nitric oxide, which serves a whole host of health benefits. But one that I find incredibly important, especially in the time that we're living in, is that nitric oxide has anti-pathogen properties. So it can fight off viruses, bacteria, other pathogens that might be present in the air. That nitric oxide production is going to really help fight those things off. And it's also stimulating a bunch of hormones within the body that help regulate different functions within you. And so when we start to normalize our breathing, start to practice nostril breathing, breathing slower, breathing from the diaphragm. So it's not necessarily you have to take these huge deep breaths, but breathing from the diaphragm so you use more of your lung capacity, breathing less, meaning fewer breaths per minute, we can really start to regulate the stress response, calm the nervous system, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest, relax, and digest. Over time, start to balance out hormones, improve sleep, reduce anxiety and depression. And this way of breathing actually aids in weight loss because it's supporting your metabolism. It's going to bring your metabolism back into balance too. So, I mean, almost any of the main issues that we're seeing today, the breath can be part and should be part of a healing protocol.
Love it. I couldn't agree more, because women, we cannot have balanced hormones, digest our food, think clearly when we're in a stressed out state. And, you know, when we're in a stressed out state, our cortisol's running rampant. All of these things are literally down regulating our ability to function properly. So if you're struggling with, you know, weight, if you're struggling with sleep, if you're struggling with energy, if you're struggling with brain fog, take a minute to like step in and say, okay, where am I at? Am I really stressed? Am I shallow breathing? Does it feel like I'm running? Because if you're running and you're in this go, 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 your body's not worried about digesting, you know, even that healthy salad that you just ate. It's more concerned about pumping blood and oxygen to your muscles versus pumping it to our internal organs so that we can live a balanced, calmer life. So I love it, Jen. What would be some of like the biggest like ahas that your clients have seen when they started implementing breath work and being conscious of their breath?
Anxiety is the biggest one for my clients and for myself personally, is just feeling more calm, you know, and having a tool that you can go to when you are feeling really overwhelmed, and you can just stop, you know, even if it's just for 2 minutes, tune into your breath, and really you feel the calming effects. If you're breathing in a certain way, you feel it really quickly. So I'd say the ability to reduce anxiety and stress. You know, I've had clients be able to lower their blood pressure in literally one session. And of course, it would be the consistent practice that really helps turn that into a long-term thing. Pain reduction, you know, there's just so many things. But I think for my clients, the type of clients I work with, anxiety is a big one.
I love it. For me, when I don't normally fly off the handles, but when I'm angry or when I'm frustrated, if I take a minute before responding, and breathe, I can actually respond far clearer in a more neutral zone compared to if I was still doing that, like using the accessory muscles. And it's unbelievable what oxygen can do when we allow it to function.
Yeah, I love that example so much. If only everyone did that before they responded to things, especially on social media, right? Just take a deep breath before you actually type what you're going to type, you know?
Right? Well, maybe take a few deep breaths from your nose before responding. But, or, you know, that's something that, and don't get me wrong, I don't always do this with my husband. There's times where I don't take a minute to breathe. And then later I go back and I'm like, I'm sorry. I was responding irrationally, and now I can blame it on lack of oxygen to the brain. So, you know, that's
there's your excuse. But yes, it's so true, because breath work, one of the beautiful things that breath work offers, and in addition to the physical healing and the mental and emotional, but it gives you this sense of clarity. It gives you better focus. And so you can make smarter decisions. You can respond rather than react. You know, and you can become over time more resilient to stress. So the things that used to trigger you may not trigger you as much anymore, which is incredible.
I love that. Become more resilient, and instead of being reactive, be responsive.
Yeah.
That's a way better way to live.
Yes.
So can you tell us what is so special or what's different about the SOMA breathing technique?
So what I love about SOMA Breath, and first of all, I've practiced many different forms of breath work. When I first discovered breath work, I tried them all out, and I had beautiful experiences with all of the ones that I tried. But it was SOMA Breath that really just resonated with me on a deep level. And I knew for me, this was one that I wanted to implement a regular practice with. And what I liked is that while a lot of the other forms of breath work use a form of really fast mouth breathing that can allow for some profound emotional release and trauma release. It is putting you in a sympathetic state. It is, you're breathing in a way that you don't want to breathe on a regular basis, but for a specific period of time, it's intentional. And so that's great for these types of trauma release and emotional release, but it doesn't teach you how to breathe properly. And for some people, I've had clients come to me saying they tried these other forms of breath work to help with their anxiety, and it made them more anxious. And it can very much do that. And so with SOMA breath work, what I like is that we're breathing in through the nose, we're breathing out through the mouth, we're breathing in a rhythm. We are breathing to really awesome music. And I love the music. It's such a big part of this breath work. And most of the sessions we're breathing at a slower pace. So like in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. It's slower. Sometimes we'll speed it up really fast for just a short period of time. But it's really calming to the nervous system. So it's not putting you in that sympathetic overdrive. It's calming your nervous system. It's helping you get more into a parasympathetic state, which is a really healing state. And at the same time, I have still had some amazing emotional releases with SOMA. I feel like it helps, with physical healing. It helps with just your mental state, your outlook on life. So it has, in my opinion, a lot of the benefits that some of these other practices offer, but it's a much safer form of breath work, and it teaches you how to breathe properly in your habitual style of breathing.
So this is more along the lines of teaching you how to breathe in your daily life. Mm-hmm. At any moment in time, do you have to have music in order to practice it once you understand the concepts and the basics, or?
You don't. And I see breath work in a couple of ways. So with SOMA breath work, when we do a full practice, it's, an hour to an hour and a half long. And those sessions will put you into a very deep state of meditation. It will allow for, release of toxic emotions that you may have been holding on to for years or decades. It can help reprogram the mind, rewire the brain. You're going to go deep in those sessions. You don't need to do that every single day. Those are sessions you may want to do once a week, twice a month, things like that. Mm-hmm. For a daily practice,
I was going to say, Jen, my women are going to be like, I don't got an hour and a half every day.
Exactly. And I get that. I would say if you can commit to an hour, maybe a couple times a month, it's going to be worth it for you. But for a daily practice, 10 to 20 minutes, if you can do that, whether it's first thing in the morning, at night before bed, anytime during the day when you have that time, that's beautiful. And if you can do a 10 to 20 minute practice and actually do the breath work with the music, it's amazing. Like that would be ideal. If that's not an option, then just taking a few minutes and doing some rhythmic breathing without music, sitting at your desk, whatever it is, that's going to be helpful too.
Okay. So this is very applicable for like if you're at work or you're driving your car and somebody like cuts you off, or your kids are in the backseat screaming at you.
Yeah.
You can just tune into your own rhythm and focus on that versus having to turn on the music.
Exactly. Anytime something comes up in your day, you get triggered by something, you're trying to meet a deadline and you're stressed out, just tune into your breath and make sure you're breathing through the nose and slow your breath down. It's not so much as, we hear the term, oh, take deep breaths. No, just slow your breath down. Try to breathe slower. Breathe through the nose and maybe count to 4 on the inhale, count to 4 on the exhale, or if you can count to 6 on the inhale, 6 on the exhale, you're going to start to feel calm. If you can do that for 2 minutes, do it.
I love it. Slow it down versus
Mm-hmm.
thinking about taking a deep breath. I
Yeah.
think that's such a great visual for a lot of people, because when people think, oh, I need a big deep breath, it's like,
Yeah.
and that's not
Right.
at all what you're talking about. You're not talking
Exactly.
about like inflating yourself up like an overblown balloon.
Right.
You're just talking about taking a slower breath. So why
Mm-hmm.
is it important to like breathe through your nose, but exhale through your mouth versus
Yeah.
breathing in your nose and out your nose?
So that's a really good question. And let me clarify that. So your habitual form of breathing, like how you're breathing every day and at night, should be in and out through the nose. Okay. In and out through the nose. What we do in SOMA, in the breath work, we exhale through the mouth because it's easier to control that exhale through the mouth. And sometimes we're extending our exhale for a really long time. And it's pretty difficult to do that when you're exhaling through the nose. So that's why we do that in the breath work is for that control of the exhale. But we're always breathing in through the nose. And I think that's the most important part of nostril breathing is that you're inhaling through the nose.
Love it. Yeah, because I was like, why is it that sometimes breath work, they want you to breathe through the mouth, like exhale through
Yeah.
the mouth? And I've been working on nose breathing for years now. And so it can be hard for me to like click over and be like,
Yeah.
okay, in through the nose, out through the
Out
mouth.
through the
But
mouth. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes we'll make an audible sound as well. Like a chant, we'll chant om or, make that noise. And that also, that stimulates a vibration that is really great at activating the vagus nerve. So that's a whole other area of benefit. But so again, that would be an exhale through the mouth with a sound. Yeah.
the vagus nerve, that is a chiropractor's dream, to have everybody's vagus nerves firing properly.
Yes.
So ladies, vagus nerve, brief synopsis. It is the nerve that literally controls everything from hormones to digestion to breath to it controls everything. And so when your upper vertebrae C1 is out shifted, it could cause a misfiring of that vagus nerve. So there are chiropractors out there that only focus on literally activating the vagus nerve because of how impactful it is when your vagus nerve is firing properly. And so are you saying, Jen, that through breath work, you can also get the vagus nerve to fire differently or fire the way that it's supposed to?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, just like with anything, it's practice. It's not one and done, but it's a consistent practice. But yes.
Wouldn't that be nice? One and done.
I know. That would be a dream. If anyone's found that, please let us know. But most of these good things come with consistency and with practice.
Absolutely. So do you mind taking, myself and my listeners through what a SOMA like breathing exercise would look like?
Yeah, I would love to. So let me just first explain the technique and then we can go into kind of a mini session. Does that sound good?
Awesome.
Okay, perfect. So as you have probably gathered with the breath work, we'll be breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, and we'll breathe. I believe this music that I'm using will be breathing in for 4 and out for 4. It has counting built into it. So you'll just breathe along to the music. In 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we're just going to do one round of the breath work. Usually in the classes I teach, we do 3 to 4, but this will give you a taste. And at the end of the rhythmic breathing, I'm going to invite you to take a big breath fully in and then fully out. Exhale all the air and hold your breath. So we're going to do a breath retention. So you're going to hold your breath for as long as you can. If you need to take a breath, just take a quick inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and continue to hold. You can do that as many times as you need during this breath hold. And then after a little while, I'll invite you to take a big breath fully in through the nose, and you're going to hold the breath on the inhale. So you're going to hold your breath here for a few seconds. And at the same time, we're going to do what's called a Mula Bandha lock. And what this is, you're going to contract your pelvic floor muscles kind of like you're doing a Kegel or you're holding in your urine. You're going to contract those muscles. And what you're going to imagine is this energy moving up from the root chakra, up your spine into the midbrain. And the benefit of this is that one, it helps, it's energizing. It's exciting. You're moving energy, a lot of stuck energy that gets stuck in that root chakra. We're moving it up. And it produces a rush of blood flow and oxygen to the brain. It also helps stimulate those feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. So you're going to hold your breath here for about 30 seconds and then exhale, and we'll be done. So that's it.
Perfect. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Shall we go into it?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to open up with just a super 2-minute little meditation, and then you'll hear the breathing start. Now, if you're listening to this in the car, do not do this.
Good, because I was going to say, now if you're, using heavy machinery, forego participating in this, but come back to it.
Yeah.
And do it at home when you can sit safely.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're in a safe space. You can lie down, you can sit up, just make sure you're in a comfortable space. With the breath holds, I will say, and we're only doing one, so it's not a huge deal, but I do like to mention there are contraindications with the breath holds. So if you're pregnant, if you have heart conditions, if you have cancer, any of those things, epilepsy is another one. Leave out the breath holds, just continue with the rhythmic breathing. Otherwise, you should be good. All right. All right. So let me start the music. Go ahead and find your quiet space and begin to slow your breathing and close your eyes. Tuning into your breath. And in your mind, start to focus on a sense of gratitude. Bring a feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for this day, for this experience. Gratitude for the breath. Embody this feeling of gratitude. Feel it. Feel what it feels like to be truly grateful. And as you bring in these feelings of gratitude, turn up the dial on these good feelings and good sensations. Carry this with you as we begin to breathe in a rhythm. Let's begin to breathe in beats. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Smooth on the inhale, smooth on the exhale, keeping a consistent rhythm with every breath you take. Feeling that energy building up inside with every breath, creating a supercharge from deep within. may feel tingling sensations building up inside as this charge of energy is running through your body, stimulating your own creative attention, nourishing every cell. Breathing in gratitude, breathing out love, breathing in this vital prana, life force energy. Letting go of any tension on your exhale, breathing in with no force on your inhale. Surrendering deeper and deeper, dissolving into the sacred sound of your own breath. Imagine with every breath in and out, you're drawing in healing light all the way in through your nostrils, into your brain, sending a circuit of golden white light all the way throughout your body, nourishing every cell. Connect to your being, connect to the breath, the rhythm of life, connecting deeply to your higher self, divine intelligence, connecting to the breath. Now take a big breath fully in and fully out. Exhaling all the air in your lungs and holding your breath. As you hold your breath, you press pause on life and you go into a moment of deep relaxation. This allows the thought files to reassemble, giving you a sense of freedom, clarity, and joy. If you get an urge to breathe, take a quick sip in and out, and continue to hold. Going back into that deep state of meditation as you connect with the essence of your soul, bringing awareness to all these good feelings and good sensations, to all this new energy you've brought into your body, healing and nourishing every cell. As you go deeper and deeper, enjoy the bliss. And then when you get a real big urge to breathe, take a big breath fully in. Hold the breath. Squeeze the Mula Bandha, contracting those pelvic floor muscles. Imagine energy shooting up from your root chakra, up, up, up the spine into the midbrain. Focus on your third eye. Imagine white lights radiating all around you. You are whole, perfect, strong, loving, harmonious, healthy, and happy. And then exhale with a sigh of good feelings. Returning to normal, relaxed breathing. And in your own time, allowing your eyes to flutter open, coming back to the room.
Wow, thank you for that, Jen.
You're welcome.
That was wonderful. And ladies, that was only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Only 10 minutes. And I fully participated. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you'll see that my eyes were closed and I was breathing. And I'll tell you the hardest part for me in a minute. But the amount of energy, like if you need a pick-me-up, going and doing that type of breath work for me is very energizing. I'm sure, Jen, you can like talk to that, but it's also very clearing. Like the stuff that is running through our brains, because women, we are thinking of things like 1,000,000 miles a minute, 500 things at once. It allows you to just like let those things run through your brain, but it pulls you back to that breath. And that music really helped me. The hardest part was holding the exhale. So having no breath is definitely much harder for me than holding a big breath in. Is that common? And if it is or isn't, why might that be?
Yeah, so I love all of your feedback. And the first thing I want to address is the calm energy that you feel. You know, I hear that a lot and I experience it myself. Like you feel energized, but you feel calm. It's not like this stressful energy. It's a very calm, clear energy. So the fatigue is gone, the clarity is there, and you just feel calm in your space. And it's a beautiful thing that I think is a sign of like balance and how how we could be living
How
on a
we
more,
should be.
yeah, on a more regular basis. And we get a taste of that for sure. And then the breath holds. So yes, in the beginning, and myself included, and I hear this from a lot of my clients, like the exhale is challenging at first. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I find that lying down is a lot easier to hold my breath than sitting up. Secondly, we can actually hold our breath longer than we think. so this is the role of, part of our brain that's like this fear center that's like, oh my gosh, you need to take a breath. You need to take a breath. Like, what's happening? Alert, alert, alert. And when really your body is okay. Mm-hmm. And so it's just kind of leaning into that and little by little holding our breath a little bit past the comfort zone every time. Because this rhythmic breathing, we've built up a lot of oxygen in our system. So we actually can hold our breath longer than we think. There's this kind of subconscious fear behind it.
It's old programming. It's that old wire. And, when we're used to doing something over and over again, that's what our body thinks is normal. Mm-hmm. But I use the term normal very loosely. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal, or just because, that's what you're used to doesn't make it right. So giving yourself the opportunity to move through it, I think, is so important in every aspect of life, not just breathing, but.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell my clients, like, just enjoy the experience. There's no judgment. Don't be hard on yourself because you didn't hold your breath for as long as you wanted to. But I think it's a balance of listening to your body and then also maybe pushing yourself like that 1 second more, every time. And depending on the level of stress that we're going into a breathwork session will also determine our experience in the session. So if we're going into it in a more calm place, we might find that we can hold our breath longer, we can go deeper, and versus coming into it from like a super stressful day. They're all going to be beneficial experiences. I feel like the breath work gives us what we need, but every experience is different.
Awesome. So before I ask you my final fun questions, just so my listeners can, get to know Jen at, a more personal level versus a professional level, what do you want to throw in about breathwork or SOMA? And at the very end, I'll have you tell my listeners where they can find you and how they can reach you. But any final thoughts or anything on your end?
Yeah, I would just encourage everyone to explore breathwork, to give it a try. Just like you might have done yoga or meditation in the past, I find breathwork to be effortless meditation. So if you're one that's like, oh, I've tried meditation, it doesn't work for me, then try breathwork because it will. I'm really confident about that. So I would love to connect with you. And I think it'd be great I would love to have you attend one of my classes. I do a ton of online classes, so.
Awesome. So what is your favorite beverage, Jen?
If I had to pick just one, it would have to be my organic coffee that I have in the morning.
Yeah. What do you put in your coffee?
I put coconut oil and collagen peptides.
Yum, yum, yum. I'm glad you do organic. We talk about that all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What's your favorite food?
Chocolate, dark chocolate.
How dark are we talking?
As dark as you can get. Yeah. So it's always above 70%. So
you're like me, you like the bitter, and
yes,
throw a little bit of sea salt on it.
Oh, so good.
What would be your last meal if you got to choose?
Oh my gosh, that's really difficult. Wow. So lately I've realized how much I enjoy Italian food. I don't have it hardly ever because I've been gluten-free for years. And so I'm currently out in Southern California right now, and there is this wonderful local Italian restaurant that has so many gluten-free options, and it's like authentic Italian. So just like their basic gluten-free pasta with like a red tomato sauce and basil is like just it's so good. And then if it was my last meal, I'd probably have to throw in some sort of like, gluten-free chocolate brownie with dairy-free ice cream or something, because I mean, come on.
Hey, why not, right? What is on your nightside table?
Yes. So on my nightstand is my Kindle, because I read every night before bed, and some essential oils.
What's your favorite essential oil?
Frankincense is probably my most favorite, but I love, there's a variety of blends that I love. Adaptive, Balance. I use doTERRA oil. So
Balance is my favorite.
It's so
I hide
good.
that one from my husband because I don't want to.
It's so good. Yes. So I love the grounding oils.
Awesome. And then last question. What is your favorite song that you go to like pick you up, get you motivated, like put you in a good mood?
So it's probably going to be music that not many of your listeners are aware of. I'm really into kind of like almost like ceremonial tribal music right now. So Parangi is one that I really like. It's like shamanic music, and with the drums and just really good beats. And I love to dance, and I actually incorporate dance and movement in my breath work. And so that's some of the type of music that I like to play.
Awesome. It's funny you say that. My husband and I like that stuff. And every once in a while he'll throw in like that throat singing.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
He doesn't do it, but he'll throw that on.
Right.
And people will be like, what in the world? I'm like, it just grounds you. It's grounding music.
It's good. Yes.
Awesome. So why don't you tell my viewers, my tribe, where they can find you, how they can learn more about you, how they can, participate in more of the SOMA breath work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So go to my website. It's my name, jenbroyles.com, and you can find a variety of information there. You can learn about my Sacred Breath community. So I have an online membership community that gives you access to multiple online breathwork classes every month, along with some shorter audio breathwork meditations, kind of like what we did today. They range in length from 10 to 20 minutes. So they're great for a daily practice, and you can download them and listen to them on your own time. And right now I'm offering 7-day free trial to that. And then I also do private sessions. I have a lot of clients that really want a more customized approach. So I offer private sessions. And so my website, you can find a lot of information and contact me through there. So I would recommend that. And then connect with me on social media. So I'm on Instagram at Jen Broyles Health Coach. And on Facebook, if you search my name, you should be able to find me.
Awesome. And ladies, remember, as always, it will be in the show notes so that you guys have easy access to Jen.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. What a beautiful experience. Great way to start my Monday morning off, because this was recorded on Monday, ladies, even though it will not be released on a Monday. And I highly recommend you all jump in and start to play with different types of breath work. And I love the music behind it. It made it much, it made the time go by faster versus just counting in your head, 4 in, 4 out, 4 in, 4 out. So thank you so much. I appreciate you taking a few moments to share that wonderful experience with me and my tribe.
Oh, well, it was a pleasure. Thank you, Caitlin.
All right, ladies, as always, I look forward to seeing you next week, and make sure you find us on Facebook, join the private club, and ask any questions you have. And I'm sure if you guys have a ton of questions, Jen would be more than happy to answer them too if you reach out to her. All right, take care. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Women in Wellness as much as I did. If you did, please leave a review and a rating so that others can also benefit from the information being shared. Make sure to subscribe as new content is released on Women in Wellness Wednesdays. And if you want to connect with us, go online to womeninwellness.com. That's women, the letter N, wellness.com. I look forward to seeing you next time.